I think I can press read. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. We will start momentarily. We're just waiting to see if we have, all our council members that are here. Hold on 1 second. We'll start at 6:35 promptly. VJ,
Yes,
are you in the position to keep time?
I could keep potentially yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So we'll get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CEC28 special meeting. And the purpose of this meeting is to interview a candidate we have for our vacant slot. So we only have one candidate on tonight. I appreciate everyone being here. Elena, if you can speak, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes. VJ Ramjatan, President.
I'm here.
First Vice President, Barbara Williams.
Here.
Second Vice President, Ted Chang.
Here.
Recording Secretary, myself, Elena Minova, I'm here. Member, Latifa Lewis. She's absent, right?
Yeah.
Treasurer, Lu Zhao.
He's here, but
He's here, but he's frozen.
That's fine. So we know he's here. He might not be able to speak. We have member Simone Dornbach.
yeah.
All right, and we have other members that are absent. Oh, we have actual member
Still
Rajwinder
call
Park.
for the record.
Yes. Member Rajwinder
Still
Park.
call everybody's name for the record.
Yes.
Not here.
Hold on. I need the
No, Rajwinder is here.
Rajwinder is
I'm
here.
here. I was not able to unmute.
Oh, okay.
All right. Member, hold on, help me guys out. I don't have it on top.
Shalisa Dean.
Shalisa Dean. And who else is missing?
Sandra Alexander.
Cassandra Alexander. Absent.
Not here. Thank you, Elena.
All right, we can proceed, Barbara.
So yes, thank you. At this time, I will give the floor to Dr. Pate. She has a few words for us on tonight. Dr. Pate.
Hi, good day, everybody. I am actually in Singapore today until the beginning of next week, but I wanted to jump on because I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce to our CEC and to our larger community our new superintendent in the person of Dr. Chanel Hall. You know that it was quite the process to identify candidates, and then the person who would replace our own Sue Kong, who is enjoying her retirement. I keep in touch with her very often, and she's doing so very well. But we are so excited. Dr. Chanel Hall, she has about 3 quick slides. We've talked to her already to say it's 5 minutes. Barbara, I certainly appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes in this special meeting. But I just wanted to make sure that our CEC got a chance to meet Dr. Hall in this way. And so that's all I wanted to say. I'm so very thankful to be here with you all every single month that we get a chance to be in community together. And so I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to introduce Dr. Hall, and she is going to say hello to our CEC board, and then 3 quick slides just to kind of tell you who she is. And then that'll be it for us. All right, Dr. Hall.
Close this out. Thank you. So are you hearing echo?
Mm-hmm. We can hear you.
Make sure there's no echo.
Can you share a slide?
Let me see. All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good
I am
evening.
delighted to be on here with you all this evening. I want to thank Dr. Pate for the honor and the privilege of serving as District 28's Deputy Superintendent. Truly, I count it a privilege to be on this call with each of you tonight and to serve District 28 in this capacity. So I know everyone, I consider everyone on this call a leader, right? You're on this call because you lead this district in some capacity. And I intend to learn from you, to learn the District 28 way, to learn the District 28 legacy, and to lead alongside each of you. So thank you for welcoming me into your community. As Dr. Pate shared, I do have 3 short slides I want to share with you. Let me just see if I have sharing privileges to be able to do that. That's why I logged in from the other device as well, just to see if
Yeah, we made you a co-host. You can share.
I can share?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you have the privileges.
All right, I'm on my phone. I've never done it from my phone, but let me just give it a go. See what happens. And I know there's a lot of other important things happening in the meeting this afternoon, so I will be brief.
It's not pulling up.
Not yet?
No. Oh, let's see.
Are you able to see anything on my screen?
We see it.
You can see it?
It's going back and forth.
That's
Yeah, we
the-
can see it
now,
now.
yeah.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, great. So once again, my name is Dr. Chanel Hall. I'm going to just give you some key points. I'm not going to read slides to you. For the past 18 years, I've served in New York City public and charter schools in the capacity of teacher, AIS provider, literacy coach, data specialist, assistant principal, director of school renewal, and most recently as the principal of the Walter Francis White School in Brownsville, Brooklyn. My core belief is that all children, and when I say all, I mean all, every single child in the New York City Department of Education deserve to have a high quality education from skillful, trusted adults who believe in their capacity to learn. My dissertation when completing my doctorate was around collaborative leadership practices. And that goes back to what I said in the very beginning around considering everyone on this call a leader. You lead in some capacity, you lead in the District 28 community. When you walk into a school building and you're having a conversation, even if you're a parent on the call with your child's principal, you're a leader because you're advocating for the best, not just for your child, but for every other child in our district. In my role as Deputy Superintendent, I strive for the inestimable contributions to the lives of our scholars. I will uphold the D28 core values around discourse in all of our classrooms, high-level discourse, and engaging all stakeholders through strategic data analysis and outlining a plan for sustained improvement. I also believe in partnering with our families, school and district leaders, community-based organizations. My leadership has been categorized by collaboration, by working with others, particularly families and community partners, as well as local elected officials. So I am honored to be on this call with each of the leaders that have signed on this evening. Just some quick bullets in terms of leadership impact. As a principal in year 1, my school was removed from the New York State potentially persistently dangerous list. And that was done through the culturally responsive sustaining education practices that were put in place very early on. And if you know anything about the PPD list, that's the list where the families are notified that this school is a dangerous place, right? And you just want to be aware of it. But my goal walking in was that the school needed to be a safe place for everyone, for students, for families, for teachers. And in just 1 year, through intentional social emotional best practices, we were able to turn that around. And the state was not able to give us that designation because the school was indeed a safe place for all. Within the first 2 years of the principalship, academic proficiency increased by an average of 12% through comprehensive data analysis that I talked about earlier, action planning, and the execution of a tailor-made RTI, which is now called MTSS, plan to meet the needs of all learners. There was movement to least restrictive environments, reduced from 33% to 27% in the first 2 years. And all of that was with the mindset that, as I said in the beginning, my overall belief, my guiding values include that all children deserve to learn from to receive high quality education from trusted adults who believe in their capacity to learn. And everything around my platform around education begins with high expectations. And there's no way to have high expectations unless you believe that our children can succeed, unless we each believe that they have the capacity to do well. And everything that you'll hear from me is grounded in that belief that all of our students can do well, because each of them possess the capacity to do well, and we will help them to reach their full potential. Last slide. Who am I? So yes, I'm Dr. Hall. Yes, I've had all of these different roles in the Department of Education. And I've recently transitioned to this role from the principalship. But who really am I? Right? Underneath all of that, underneath all of the titles and all of that, I am Evelyn Greta Holder's daughter. Right? So on the top picture, you'll see what I like to call my family of origin. That's my mom, that's my dad, those are my 2 sisters. I'm the middle child. I'm standing on the far left. The bottom picture, you'll see my beautiful family. That's my husband and my 4 children. We actually recreated a picture from 2 Thanksgivings ago where they just did not want to pose. And I know almost everyone on here may have children, so you know what it's like to get a family picture. So we just had a little fun and recreated that moment where there were some pouting faces, some smiling faces, and we just had fun with it. So I'm going to read a short poem that I wrote to introduce who I am to each of you. Who am I? I am from the rich soil of the West Indies, born and raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and a former resident of Jamaica, Queens. I am from cook-up rice, roti and curry, bacon saltfish, and celebrating every Christmas with spicy pepper pot. I am a wife, middle child, mother of 4, friend to many, and sister of few. I am a hair enthusiast, lover of creating special stews and listening to music and vlogs that feed my soul. I am a bright colors fanatic, a lover of funky patterns and lazy Saturday afternoons with family. I am a compassionate leader and learner. I am Chanel Hall. I thank you, District 28, for welcoming me into your community. And I thank you for the time to share a little bit about who I am with each of you.
Thank you
so much,
very,
Mrs.
very
Hall.
much. That was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Hall. And
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Barbara, for the time.
Thank you, Dr. Pate. Bring me back a perfume. I heard that Singaporean perfume is real good. So enjoy yourself, Dr. Pate, until we see you back.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop off you all, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow, Dr. Hall. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, have a good
Okay.
night.
Good night, Dr. Pate.
Good night. Take care.
You're welcome. So welcome, Mrs. Hall, to the grade 28. We're happy to have you. You're filling a big shoe, and we're looking forward to working with you. At this time, we'll have a word from our president, Mr. Vijay Ramjan.
Hey, good night, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be fully here, but I'm here. Adrian, thank you so much for being here. Adriana, thank you so much for being here, applying for the CEC and to interview for this position. We are always looking for vibrant, amazing leaders in our community to become even more great leaders with us. So we are looking forward to this process here, and we wish you all the best. To my house members, we're always doing what we gotta do. And we're one team, and we're loving it here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, VJ. So for the sake of the people that are late, tonight's meeting is we are interviewing Miss Adriana Elisier for the vacant spot on the CEC. So Adriana, how it's gonna go? We're gonna give you 1 minute to introduce yourself to everyone. Then we're gonna ask you 3 questions. You get 2 minutes to present your answers. And then after that, we'll see if anyone in our community have any questions or any comments. And then you could leave. So at this time, Adriana, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself to your community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adriana. I am a resident of District 28, obviously. My son is in pre-K at PS 175, and I am the co-president of the Parents Association there. Also the president of District 28's President's Council, and I sit on SLT at 175, as well as our Equity Committee. And I think that's all for now. I'm the district representative for CPAC, and I also sit on DLT for District 28. So it's a lot of little meetings everywhere. Should I be like saying personal stuff too? I have ADHD, I'm autistic. It's great. It's wonderful over here.
It's up to you, whatever you want to say. VJ, are you keeping time? I didn't hear you.
I am.
Okay. All right. Thank you, VJ. Thank you, Adriana. At this time, we'll hear the first question will come from Mr. Ted Chang. Ted?
Hi, welcome, Adriana. And
Hi,
and just so you know, we when Simone joined the council, we asked a bunch of questions to the candidates then. So we're kind of going through the same set of questions with you. So the question that I had was, please describe, and you kind of went over this, but maybe you could give a little more detail or something, whatever's up to you. Please describe the parent leadership or parent advocacy meetings that you attend, including a rough idea of how many times you have attended.
Okay, so I'll go from micro to macro. So micro, I am the co-president of the Parents Association at PS 175, the Lindgross Discovery School. The meetings that I attend for that are our executive board meetings. We have at least one every month. And I attend our general membership meetings. My co-president and I switch off who leads the meeting, but I put together all of the agenda items. I put together the slides that we use as our background so that our parent members aren't like waiting for people to be able to share their screens. We have worked out a system that is very seamless and is very effective and can be passed down when neither she nor I are in the positions that we're in at the moment. So for continuity's sake, we've kind of created the system here. So in addition to that, we both sit on SLT, and we are both members of the equity group at PS 175. It just restarted very recently, but so that's 3 on the micro. Meso, I am also, as I said, the president of District 28's President's Council. I'm very proud of that. We have one executive meeting every month and one general membership meeting every month. But in addition to that, I also attend multiple city. Oh, okay. So I'm the district representative for District 28 for CPAC and for the district leadership team. So it's about 8 to 10 meetings a month and hours of research and note taking and all that.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thank
At
you.
this time, we have our another question is from our secretary, Miss Elena Aminova.
Thank
And
you.
remember, you have 2 minutes to answer the questions, Adriana.
Now, this is a long question, so bear with me. What's your suggestion on the diversity plan for District 28? And for the sake of time, please do not talk about why you think a diversity plan should or should not happen, since now it is mandatory. Also, please try to be specific. Talk about real actionable ideas, such as busing, zone removal, special programs, etc., that you think are feasible for our district. Thank you so much.
Okay. For our district specifically, I think with respect to diversity plans and items that are actionable, the first thing that I think must be addressed is the access issues that we have, right? We can't talk about diversity without also talking about equity and without also talking about inclusion. And there are a lot of things that are through no fault of our own, blocking success in diversifying our school populations. There's very much a feeling that one part of the district has access to more, has more, and one part of the district does not have the same level of advantages or the same level of not privilege, but the same level of access, right? So language access, providing language programs for parents and families in addition to what the students receive at school, I think would be massively helpful in diversifying our schools here, and putting that into a diversity plan makes it so that parents are an equal participant in what's happening in the schools and what's happening in the community. Because if you can't speak the same language, whether that's actual language like English versus Spanish, or if culturally you're not speaking the same language, then it's really difficult to move forward from there. I do wish I had more time to have prepared for this question, but I think getting everyone on the same footing would be the first step, in my opinion.
Right on time. Thank you, Adriana. At this time, we'll have member Ms. Simone Darnbach with the last question. And you can ask to repeat the question, Adriana. I forgot to tell you that in case if, Simone?
Thank you, Barbara. Hi, Adriana.
Hi.
I have a really long question. It's really like a paragraph, well, several paragraphs. So feel free to ask me to repeat. In your own words, why do you want to be a member of CEC28? District 28 is a very diverse district in terms of socioeconomic status, political views, ethnicity, school scores, programming, and more. If selected as a council member, how would you aim to provide broad-based support to elevate the concerns of all our families, even when they do not mirror your own? How would you use your professional and experience background for further consensus-based parent initiatives on the council? And also give an example of time or event where consensus was required, but the viewpoint of the majority differed from your own. What steps would you personally take to help advance the discussion to a unified resolution? Let me repeat the very first question. In your own words, why do you want to be a member of CEC28? And we also, we need to give Adriana a little bit more time because this is really 4 questions and she should have time to answer every question.
Thank you. Simone, can you post the question in the chat just so that I can like glance at it to make sure that I'm not skipping? Is that possible? Is that okay?
It's not, I'm sorry, I can't post it.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
unable to post it. That's not that I don't want to, or that I'm
Mhm.
not permitted to. I'm unable, but I could maybe I could screen share.
VJ will give Adriana, this is a long question, and we'll give her 3 minutes for this one.
Thanks, guys.
If that's fine. Yes.
Do you want me to post the question in the chat?
Do you
I
have
could
it?
probably do that.
Your own words. Why do you want
I
to
have
be a
it.
member of CEC28?
Thanks, Elena. So I'll just start while Elena posts the rest of it in the chat. I want to be a member of CEC28 because I think that, or not I think, I feel that we all have a responsibility to each other as members of the same community. And that responsibility is to the future, right? And that is the future of us successfully as parents and families, but more the children. And I know that it's a lot of work. It's impossible to expect a group of volunteers in small numbers to be able to get something done, anything done, with respect to community schools or the DOE, if there's only 5 or 6 of them, right? Many hands make the work a bit lighter. And it also gives people the opportunity to be seen, be heard, feel seen, and feel heard, right? Me sitting on the CEC will show some other parent in a year or two that they can do it too, right? Having a full-time job doesn't preclude you from being able to be of service to your community. And that's mostly what it is for me. I have the time, I have the capacity, I have the ability. So I feel like it's my responsibility to do what I can for my community. And this is one of those things. I'm gonna open this up so I can see what it says. So how would I provide broad-based support to elevate concerns of all of our families when they don't mirror my own? I have a lot of experience with that. I don't think a lot of people's, I don't think my viewpoints or my opinions of things are necessarily mainstream, right? And that's totally fine. But I also understand that I don't know everything, right? And I don't have all of the answers. I don't even have all of the information on any given topic. But what I do have is humility to be able to say that. And I also have a background in academic research for undergrad. So I know how to find the answers, right? And elevating concerns, elevating questions that the community has. In my opinion, that's about connections, and that's about the ability to communicate. I'm never one to shy away from raising my hand and asking the silly question, because I understand that there's maybe, if I have the question, there's at least 2, maybe 3 other people in the room who have the same question but don't feel comfortable enough, or don't feel bold enough, or don't feel whatever it is to raise their hand and ask that question.
You can start wrapping up.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. How would I use my professional background to further consensus space? So I work in advertising. I work in the legal end of advertising, and there's a lot of disagreements that happen when we're reviewing different pieces of creative that are going to end up on television or end up in a magazine, whatever. And a lot of times it is finding the wiggle room and wiggling into that, right? There is always space, and remembering to give each other grace and to give everyone that's involved in participating grace. I think that that is a major lesson that I've learned over the course of my career, is to listen to everyone and figure out where the pieces fit together and where we can make more space, right? The last question is to give an example, or I guess consensus was required, but the viewpoint of the majority differed from my own. In instances for this, the last part of the question, I tend to retreat my personal opinion because I don't want to taint the vibe of the room, right? I don't want to be a downer for what's happening. So if I see that the conversation is progressing in a positive way or it's progressing, right? I will step back with what I feel or with what I think, because it's not the Adriana show, right? It's about the conversation. It's about the community that's what's important here. So that is what I tend to do, is I will pull my opinion back, because that's all it is, right? If it's my opinion, that's one thing. If it's fact, it's completely different. But I pull it back, and it's about the community and what's best for everyone. And what's best for me may not be what's best for everyone. And that's a hard lesson to learn, but it's an important one.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Adriana. Our last question from the council will be coming from our president, Mr. Vijay Ramdatan, and the time goes back to 2 minutes. Adriana, we gave you extra time for that question because it was a little bit, long. So Vijay.
He was traveling, so I'm not sure if he's able to unmute and speak. Vijay?
Let me call him and see if he's.
Barbara, do we have other questions? I thought that was it.
I think we're done.
We only have one more question from Vijay.
Unless he
wanted to
has his
ask
own
a
question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just bear with us a minute. Let me reach out to him. Apologies, Adriana, he's coming.
It's okay.
Hello, I'm sorry again. So Adriana, my question to you would be like, over the past 5 years, leading the CSC has been an uphill battle to really form collaborative bonds with various bodies of people, right? And organizations and levels of parent engagement. But we did it. We did it with an amazing team of CC members. Over many cycles, we were able to build strong and lasting bonds with community groups, very apparent for our groups across the district and beyond our district and the city. CEC28 is a pinnacle. It's an example, it's a platform that leads to leadership and through engagement and through collaboration. If you were to be part of the CEC28, how would you add to this flavor? How would you add to this culture of escalating and creating bonds with and outside the community? How would you do that?
Thank you. So I think one of the things that works in my favor with having ADHD and being autistic is that I get a very good sense of people very quickly. And it is very difficult for me to not take no for an answer. That's not, that's not correct, but I don't really give up very easily. I'm not a quitter, right? There's nothing wrong with quitting, but like the adage applies to me definitely. And I think one thing that's unexpected that happens often in my interactions with other people is I try not to interrupt folks. I let people finish, right? And in addition to that, I encourage them to interrupt me. I can be very long-winded and kind of go on and get off track a little bit and then circle back. But I do encourage people to interrupt me. Like, please, if you have a question, if I've said something that has like made you think of something, don't feel like you can't interrupt me or you shouldn't. Please just jump in. And that is very disarming. And it has helped me to build trust in communication and build trust in relationships, especially in my professional life. I think that what will also help is that I'm not shy about my opinions of things, right? So I kind of, it's like horse to water. People are aware of how I feel about things, and I get oftentimes tapped to either participate or join or listen in. It's happened quite a few times this year alone, which is very interesting. But I think mostly it's that I don't give up. I feel like I'm a good listener, but also I encourage people to like be actively participating in conversation with me. And I feel like that is very disarming, and it creates safety in the conversation. So I would try to do that more expansively and more broadly. I feel like I'm able to do that on a smaller level at my PA meetings and at my President's Council meetings, just encouraging people to speak and share. And like, I'm not the authority here, right? We're all here together. Yeah. And then I would try to expand on that approach. And I think mostly people just want to feel heard, and people want to feel listened to, and they want the accountability, which I do too. So I try to be accountable. I try to do exactly what I've said I'm going to do. I try to follow up. And that goes a long way. It goes a long way professionally and personally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adriana.
Thank you.
And at this time, we're going to give our community, we can only take 3 people. We don't want to bombard Adriana with too much. Elena and Simone, if you could help me, if you have a question or a comment, and we're asking you, please be nice, be cordial to Adriana at this point in time. So if any of our community have any questions or any comments to make at this time,
they can raise their hand and I can unmute them.
yes, and we're only taking 3 people. Okay, so I see Miss Jean. Yeah, I see Miss Jean Hearn have a question or a comment.
Yes, question for Audrey and Alicia. I heard heard you speak at the CEC candidate forum, and I was a little uncertain on your positions regarding school safety agents. It sounds like you want to reduce or eliminate them at schools, which is a little concerning. And the other question was regarding standardized testing. Are you part of this movement to encourage parents to opt out of standardized testing?
Okay, so I will take your first question first. I am not against student safety. What I am against is the NYPD taking an active role, and what's becoming more and more active within the public schools of New York City. And I am not the only person that thinks that. This is not a new idea. This is not a new concern in our city. There's a lot of data that backs up how damaging it is for children, for students of all ages really, but especially that preteen, so that adolescent age group, to be in constant contact, whether passive or active, with the NYPD. I'm happy to share that information, those studies, all of that data here. I'll put the links in the chat. And there are a lot more effective ways of going about school and student safety that do not involve the police. The Supreme Court of this wonderful nation themselves has said that it is not the responsibility of police to keep people safe. So how is it that we are expecting the NYPD to do that for children? So that's first. I'm not against student safety. I am against the NYPD overreaching.
Yeah,
if I can address her second part of her question.
Person. Barbara, you said 1 question per person, just making sure.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we can move to the next question. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Jean, and thank you, Adriana. Our next person is Mosalita McMillan. Mona, it's your turn.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, VJ. Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Adriana. Hi. Um, I would like to know the important things you feel you can bring to the table when it comes to special education, especially autistic children in our community.
So immediately top of mind is that I have, as an adult now who was only diagnosed with ADHD and only diagnosed as autistic in my like mid 20s, I have that experience of going through the public education system, having not had any of that addressed. But I think mostly what I would bring to the CEC or to any organization is my connections with people who live and deal with this every day. I am not the authority on this topic, but I do know people who breathe this day in and day out. And my role in that, I believe, is to pass the microphone to them, to bring them into the room where the conversations are happening, because they are more of the authority. They have the expertise in this space, and I just have access to it. So that is what I believe that my role would be with respect to things like special education, with respect to things like students with IEPs. I don't have that expertise. I have knowledge, but it's not quite the same thing. So I would be pulling those people along with me into the room.
Thank you, Mona, and thank you, Adriana. Our next person is Miss Jessica Zelo.
Jessica, you
Okay,
should be able to unmute yourself.
I figure out how to unmute myself. So it's nice to see you. Actually, my question is about the class size matters bill. In our district, we are overcrowded compared to other districts. And so I'd just like to know your stance on class size matters and how maybe you can work with the CEC to advocate for either more, I think we need more schools, not necessarily more seats, but how you would necessarily maybe advocate for that.
Thank you, Jessica. I was actually just talking to Lainey Heimson about this over the weekend, and I was invited to be a member of her NYC Kids PAC group. And one of them, as you guys probably know, one of her major things is the class size matter bills, in addition to other stuff too. But I agree with you. I think that the answer is not necessarily more seats, because that becomes very convoluted within the DOE. Chiefly, what we need in order to make the class size matters bill work, and it has to because it's state law at this point, is that we need the budget to stop being cut. So first, we need to have our parents' voices be as loud as possible and to encourage people to go to City Hall and to make it known that it's not acceptable for the DOE's budget to continue being cut. We just had, I think, $800 million cut, and then there's an additional like 3% being cut on top of that. It's not acceptable, and we're not going to be able to meet the criteria to shrink our class sizes if we continue also shrinking our budget, right? So working with the CEC to encourage the Department of Education to fully fund our schools is the first step, right? The class size matter bill is already state law. But if we have fully funded schools and fully funded programs, that is a critical part of it, because even if we did build 2 more schools, if they're not fully funded, what are we doing, right? We're just, what is actually happening? What's the actual benefit of that? Thank you. I'm all for it though. Like smaller classes, again, like the data is there, right? The kids will benefit from that.
Thank you, Adriana. We appreciate that. We'll give you 1 minute to give your closing remark at this time.
1 minute's long. I won't need that long. I just want to thank you all for taking the time this evening for this. and for your very thoughtful questions. If there's anything I can expand upon, please feel free to email me. I'll put my email in the chat, or if there's any more that you'd like to, hear me ramble about, I'd be happy to have additional discussions at another time. And I look forward to continue working near you all, with you all, and seeing you guys tomorrow night at our regularly scheduled CEC meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adriana, for being here. We appreciate you. You could exit the platform at this time. Thank you for being here on tonight.
You. Good night.
Good night, Adriana.
Thank you.
Yes. I just want to say another thank you to everyone. We really appreciate you being here with us on tonight. At this time, we're going to be voting on tomorrow's meeting. We're giving the opportunity to our other council members who are not here on tonight to give their opinion. So at this time, we're going to go into executive session, and we'll be right back. So Dorinda, if you could create a breakout room for us. You want to say anything before we go, VJ?
Yeah, really quickly, to all those who are joining this meeting tonight, just know this is a special meeting just to interview this one vacant seat. This is not the regular candidate election, candidate forum for the next cycle of CEC. This is only for this vacant seat. That's why we had one person, just in case anyone's confused about that. And tomorrow night will be our regular calendar meeting, 6:30 with the whole community. So thank you for being here, and you're more welcome to stay back. We'll come back on, but you can participate in our executive session to discuss the candidates, answers. Thanks, Barbara.
You're welcome, VJ. So if Dorinda can create a breakout room, we'll go into executive session.
And Barbara, Barbara, is it accurate to say that we're going to go into executive session and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll come out of executive session and basically the meeting's going to be over at that point? So there's not really anything for anyone to. There's really nothing for the audience to stay for, just so they know that.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Ted, for that clarification. Yes.
And we need Dorinda in the breakout room, right, with us? I'm creating the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be voting tomorrow on our regular meeting.
Okay. I'm opening the room. You guys are ready?
Wait, hold on a second.
Now. We have to make a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I make
the motion to close this meeting.
I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss, an individual member candidate for CEC.
Can someone second it? Thank you, VJ. All right, we'll be right back.
Can I pause the recording here or stop it? Yes.
Yeah, once we're in the, once we go to
thank
break,
you, Elena.
then you can stop it.
Yes.